Hello everyone. Welcome to this video in which I'm going to discuss an important topic, which is how do you build your vocab. Now this is a topic that haunted me when I was a student because I came from a vernacular medium school and my English was very limited. The reading was limited, the speaking, the writing, the listening, everything was limited. So how do you get better at it? So I'm going to point you to three resources that you can use to get better at this. Now, the number one resource that I'm going to suggest is, of course, the My IMS portal, in which you have a section called Vocabulary Learning Techniques. Right now, once you go through these techniques, there are four videos that you can go through. The videos are on using contextual understanding, using word association, and there is one more video which is on understanding the etymology. Okay, so these videos will give you an understanding as to how do you go about the entire process. Now, in addition to this, there are two free resources that I'm going to recommend. And I'll also give you a small demo as to how you can use these resources. The first of which is Arts and Letters Daily. Now, this is a free website, so you can go through the website, read as many articles as you want. The articles are from different sources, they're from different types and categories, and so on, which means that you will not be restricted to a singular kind of reading. So for example, here you can see some articles of note, there are some book reviews, there is essays and opinions and so on. So you'll have a lot of things that you can go through. At the same time, there are a lot of newspapers that you will see on the left hand side. So in case you want to go through maybe some random source, you can definitely do that. Or you can just pick some random articles from here. A lot of times students ask me, what is the use of reading random articles? Now, number one is, of course, if you are used to a certain way of reading, then you get comfortable with only that kind of reading. But if you read different articles, you will get exposed to different genres and different styles of writing. The second is in the actual exam, you're going to get RCs, which are not from the passages, not from the areas that you might be comfortable with. So, how do you get better at this? Is, of course, through reading. And at the same time, it is a fantastic source of giving you new words, understanding contextual usage, and so on. So I'm going to demonstrate how you should read and how you should note down words. A lot of times, what students do is they read the word and then they try to Google the meaning or search the meaning of it in a dictionary immediately, which is typically not the best way to go about it. So let's do one thing. Let's open a random article on this and see how we are going to go about this process. So I'm going to, and again, it's so random. So you will see that there are different sources and you'll be surprised to see a particular source, right? So for example, the Hudson River, I've definitely not seen this earlier. And there is some article, let's see. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read the first paragraph. Right? Okay, so cynical theories, how activist scholarship made everything about race, gender, and identity, and why this harms everybody, is one of the most important and enlightening books I've read in years. Okay, now you might be somebody who knows the meaning. So there are two difficult words in this. There is one which is cynical in the beginning, and there is enlightening. I think the rest of the words are pretty simple. So you don't write down these words right away. Okay, don't write it down in your book or anything at this point of time. Read through the entire thing. It is a joint effort of Helen Pluckrose, a British political and cultural writer, now in exile. Okay, so exile may be the word, might be the word that you don't know. And James Lindsay, an American author and mathematician. I say enlightening because to me every page contained an aha moment. Now you see what has just happened, right? Without you trying to figure out what was the meaning of the word enlightening, there is something in the passage which has told you what that word could mean, right? I say enlightening because to me every page contained an aha moment. So enlightening is something which gives you that aha moment, right? So I don't have to Google the word. Okay, now for the first time I can gauge the extent of my cluelessness and naivety over the last 30 years or more as I maneuvered the academic world and raised children who maneuvered it in their turn. Okay, so there are two more words that could be a little difficult, naivety and maneuvered. Okay, so I'll have to see, okay, what are the meanings, right? I can try to guess it at this point of time, or I can Google it. So the first thing that I do is read the entire read the entire the article that you have. Now, separately, you can write down these words at a particular place, or you can use the second resource that I'm pointing you at, which is dictionary.com. Now, dictionary.com is a fantastic resource. You can create a free account on the website, and of course, all the features are free in any case. So you can go through the meanings and so on without even creating your user account. But why I'm suggesting you create a free user account is because then you can create something which is called a list. So what I'll do, for example, now we just read this article, right? And what were the words that we found difficult? The first one was cynical. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I've created a list and I'm just going to add the word cynical there, right? I can see cynic, cynical. So these are of course related words. Cynicism also related to the same thing, right? So let's see who a cynic is. Okay, now the advantage is that you will immediately get the meaning. At the same time, it gets added to your list, and you can practice this list by using flashcards. You can quiz yourself or even test your spellings, right? So the word is cynic. What does it mean? It means a person who believes that only selfishness motivates human actions and who disbelieves in or minimizes selfless acts or disinterested points of view. Okay, now similarly, what I'll do is I'll just search for all the remaining words. And please note that I'm doing this after I've read the entire article, right? Now, enlightening, as we saw, we were already able to figure out what that word essentially means. Now, I don't see enlightening here, but I'll see enlighten, right? So, enlightening is, of course, the ing form of it. So, it's a verb which is used with object to give intellectual or spiritual light to, and that is what that entire aha moment was pointing towards, right? What was the next thing that we found a little difficult? Okay, let's say gauge maybe. Now you might realize that maybe you're pronouncing it wrong, which is completely fine because here you'll also be able to go through the pronunciation. I'll show you how that is done. So now right now I'm just adding words that I found to be a little difficult to my list. Okay, naivety is also there, and maneuver. So the ed form of it might not be there, so we have the noun part of it, right? Okay, so what I can do now is of course practice with flashcards and quiz myself. So I'm going to show you how to practice with flashcards, which is a very proven strategy to remember things for a longer period of time. So I'll click on this thing, which is launch, and it will start showing me words. Now these are some of the words that I added prior. So I have something called bleak, and here you will get an icon which you can use to listen to what the pronunciation is, which will also improve your verbal or the way you pronounce words in public setting or when you're talking to people and so on. So this is, for example, this is bleak. Now you might not be able to hear it, but because of the audio input, but the word is pronounced as bleak, and I can hear it once I click on this. When I click on the card, it will get reversed, and on the reverse side, what you will see is the definition of it. Okay, and similarly, you can do the remaining. So now, how do you practice? Is you see the word, you can figure out whether you know it or you don't know it. So let's say bleak, I knew the meaning, so I'll say got it. Enlighten, you notice the word that we just added has come, and this will get randomized. It will come in random order. Right? So enlighten. Now we know what the meaning is, right? So the definition, if you want to check it again, you can. You can just say got it, right? Cynic, we again saw it just now. Yeah, so maneuver, again, that was the pronunciation also, and we know what the meaning is, right? So this is one way in which you can go about practicing this. If you're not sure of particular word, maybe the naivety. Oh, yeah, so it is pronounced as naivete, and this is something that I didn't know. I was pronouncing it maybe a little differently, but when you actually listen to pronunciation, you also know that, okay, you're making a mistake, right? So I'm not sure of this word, maybe I want to practice again, so I'll click on not sure, right? So that way you can keep on practicing, right? Okay, and it will show you that, okay, maybe out of 9, we got 7 words and 2 words we were not sure about, right? Again, we'll go back and I'll show you now how to do the quiz part of it. So let's start. We'll do a small quiz on the 9 words that we've added. So which word matches the definition, right? To determine exact dimensions, capacity, or force of, this should be the word. Which word matches the definition below? So where and so on. So this is bleak. A planned and regulated movement, easily seen or noticed, is conspicuous. State of being naive. To murmur or mutter, so none of these, so should be grumble. And selfishness, we just saw that cynic. And knowledge of things before they exist or happen, so again existing before is pre, so that's the answer that we're going to go with. Okay, so this is how you can practice to give intellectual or spiritual light, enlighten, and of course now you know that you've got everything right. But imagine having say 50 words, 100 words, 200, 500 words like this, right? The amount of vocab that you will build because of that is going to be great. So make sure that you have a process in place, right? See, this takes hardly any time, but the thing that is very important is that you do it. So first thing, as I showed you, going through the videos which tell you how to go about using etymology or word associations or contextual meaning to get better while solving a particular RC. But when you just want to improve your vocab, right, you might be preparing for CET, you might be preparing for SNAP and MAT, any other exam for that matter. This is a process that you can follow to improve your vocab, right? Read any article, figure out what words you don't know, add them to something like a dictionary.com list. If you want, you can also maintain your own flashcards, which takes a little extra effort. By the way, if you put extra effort by actually writing it with your own hands, that will help you remember the words for a longer period of time. But I'm assuming that you might not have that amount of time. You want to just make things a little more interesting, gamify things, don't want to take so much effort of actually writing it down. That is when you can use something like a dictionary.com, right? So read the article, find out the words, add it to dictionary.com, make sort of gamification of it, and then practice vocab, right? Try to use these words in your normal conversation, right? Now, since we have got the meanings of a couple of words, right? Let me try and also frame a sentence of myself using this, okay? So for example, if you think that somebody's TED talk was very inspiring and you got to know a lot of things, you can say that that particular TED talk was very enlightening, right? We just use the word. Grumble as a word means to murmur or mutter in discontent, right? So if you ask somebody a question which that person might not be very comfortable answering, the person might grumble, right? Is not very, he or she is not very happy answering that thing. So that is how you can try to at least visualize. If you can't write down the sentence, at least try to frame a sentence of your own using that particular word. Whenever you are sending some text to your friends, right, try to use these words in conversations. Initially, they might feel that, okay, you're showing off. That is completely okay, right? If they're your friends, they will understand that you're trying to learn something, okay? So make sure that you do some of these things, right? The more you read, the more words you see, the more words you can remember, and the more questions you can answer in the actual exam. So that is how you go about improving your vocab. I hope this video has helped. Stay tuned for more videos and make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.